spies going to Israel and coming back with a report that we won't be able to conquer Israel. Yeah. And all the Jewish people cry. And because of this, that generation wasn't able to enter into Israel. And only the next generation could go to Israel. So there's a passage in the Talmud in the Sota, page 34b. Mesiris, Rabbi Yitzchak said we have a tradition that all of the names of these spies that went on this mission and came back with a evil report to dissuade us from doing what Hashem wanted us to do, which was to go to Israel, all of them, their names express their deeds. Their names are connected to what they did. However, although we have this tradition, and therefore every single one of the tribes who made this mistake, you could see in their name somehow their deeds, you could see their mistake in their name. But we only have one, said Rabbi Yitzchak, that we know how how his name connected to his failure in his mission. The name of the tribe that we know is Sisur ben Michael. Sisur ben Michael, his name, we do know why his name indicates his failure, because the word Sisur means to contradict or to destroy. Sisur Ma'aseh Baruch, he was the one who he contradicted or destroyed the work of Hashem. Rashi actually translates this as, what does it mean? Rashi apparently had another text in the Talmud. There are different texts of this passage, many texts. In Rashi's text, not the one that we have in the way their Talmud is printed, but in Rashi's text, the words were Soiser Devar of Shakash Baruch. He contradicted the words of Hashem. He made Hashem into a liar. He said Hashem said he's going to bring us to Israel, and this guy comes back and says we cannot conquer Israel. That's what that's what Rashi explains this. The leader of the tribe of Asher, Sisur ben Michael, he he contradicts the words of Hashem, and he considers or makes us consider Hashem to be someone who's not saying the truth, about Doi, a liar. But that's only according to Rashi's words. That the correct, according to Rashi, the text is Dvarav. It contradicts the words of Hashem. But the Maharsha, the Maharsha explains the another our text of the Gemara. Maharsha says the words are Soiser Ma'aseh Baruch. What does Soiser Ma'aseh Baruch mean? The deeds of Hashem. So Maharsha says the word Sisur, Soiser, means that he hid, he concealed, hister. He concealed the work of Hashem. Which work of Hashem? He concealed the He concealed all the miracles and wonders that Hashem did for us, took us out of Egypt. He concealed those deeds. He pretended that those things didn't happen, and by his assertion that Hashem would not be able to bring us into Israel, he was soiser. The miracles and wonders Hashem did for us, he pretended they didn't exist. It's sort of like how the Talmud explains about the Pare, that Pare did not know Yosef. So the Talmud explains, it's not that he didn't know Yosef, he pretended not to know Yosef. In a similar way, this Sisur ben Michael, by his coming back and telling the Jewish people that he cannot conquer the land of Israel, he is Soiser Ma'aseh. He is hiding the deeds of Hashem. He's seen the deeds of Hashem, but he's machasi, he's covering them, he's concealing them. The miracles and wonders that Hashem has done, he is making up a new history. By his assertion that Hashem can't conquer the land of Israel, his assertion conceals the deeds of Hashem, conceals the miracles of wonders. Just by that assertion that Hashem can conquer the land of Israel, that is indicative that he doesn't believe in the miracles and wonders of Hashem, and he's seen them himself. He was there when the Jewish people left Egypt, and he saw the miracles and wonders himself. He saw the giving of the Torah, and by his assertion we can't conquer the land of Israel, he is he's concealing, he's hiding, he's pretending that he's rewriting history. That's how the Marsha explains this. The issue is the Marsha's words seem to be not in sync with the simple translation of the Talmud. The Talmud's words are "Soiser Mezbesh Baruch Hu." He is destroying the work of Hashem. Soiser doesn't. It could be translated as to conceal. That's a way. That's what it can be translated that way. But when you read the Talmud yourself, and the way the Talmud is translated, he's Soiser. He destroys the work of Hashem. He's Soiser. Soiser Ma'aseh Baruch Hu means he destroys the building of Hashem. So the question is, according to the Pshat love, according to simple meaning, Marsha explains a deeper meaning, but according to simple meaning, how did Sisur ben Michal and the other spies, how did they destroy the work of Hashem? What does that mean? So to understand this, we have to go deeper into what the whole error of the spies was. The Alter Rebbe in Torah or Torah, Alter Rebbe explains that the reason why the spies came back with this report and said we will not be able to conquer the land of Israel is because they didn't want to go to the land of Israel. In the language of the Alter Rebbe, they wanted to remain in the world of thought, or the world of speech, which means they wanted to stay in the desert where they're completely encompassed with the holiness of Moshe Rabbeinu and the clouds protecting them from all harm, where they have nothing to be concerned about. They have all their needs are met by Hashem Himself, who is providing food for them through the manna bread, water for them through the rock of Miriam. Even their clothing was dry cleaned through the clouds. So they're completely in a really good space. On the other hand, going to Israel would mean that they would stop having the bread and water and dry cleaning, and not just dry cleaning, but the clothes would grow with them as they were traveling in the desert. So they would have to be concerned about earning a livelihood, about getting food for their families, and they didn't want to do this. They didn't want to leave this wonderful oasis in the desert and having to be involved in plowing and planting. They didn't like that. So they said, "Chazak hu mimenu." They said that the giants in the land of Israel, they're stronger than us. Mimenu, the Talmud says, doesn't just mean that they're stronger than us, they're stronger than him. What does that mean, they're stronger than him? They felt, as the Talmud says, afilu balabayis en yochel yitzkelu. Even the master cannot extricate his belongings from Israel. They felt that the people in Israel are so giant, so strong, there's no way we'll be able to extricate the kalim, the vessels. What that means is the spiritual sparks of holiness, that whenever you eat and drink and get involved in the physical for the right reasons, for the sake of Hashem, you elevate the sparks of holiness in the physical and in the mundane. They said it's impossible. It's impossible for us, Nim for Hashem, the way Hashem has set up things up in Egypt, in Israel, that they're going to be involved in the physical. It's impossible. They said this will be a place that will bring us down. It's going to bring us down. We won't be able to elevate anything. It's interesting that both Kalev and the spies both spoke about eating. The spies said this is a land that will eat its inhabitants. And Kalev also, he said, Lachmeinuhem, they are our bread. Don't worry about what the spies said. They are our bread. We'll be able to easily conquer them. But the way he phrased it was, we'll eat them up. So what's the idea of eating? The spy says this land will eat us up. And the Kalev is saying, they're our bread, we'll eat them up. What does that mean? So when you eat something, you put the food inside yourself. So when they said that the land will eat us up, what they meant was, we'll become like the land. We'll be consumed by earthiness. We'll be consumed by physicality. This is a kind of environment that completely consumes you. So we will become like the land. We become one with the land. We'll become one with the earth. We'll become very low. And Kalev said, no, the opposite. We'll be able to, Hashem indeed made this world, made the land of Israel and the environment of the land of Israel to be very physical. However, we'll be able to eat it up. We'll be able to elevate this earthy existence and to make it a place for Hashem. As the Torah says, Kol Ma'asecha Yilshem Shemayim, all your deeds should be for the sake of Hashem, and all your ways you should know Hashem. So Toiva Aretz Moed Moed, Kalev said this is a very, very good land. And the proof this is a very good land is that Hashem created this land. The fact that Hashem created this land means that this is his intent, his purpose, what he wants us to accomplish. This is part of his plan. So the mistake of the spies was that they felt that the mission can't be done in this place. It's too hard of a place. It's too earthy. This will consume us. And Kalev said, no, you're making a mistake. If Hashem made it, it means not only will not consume us, but the earthiness that Hashem is inviting us to is part of his plan. Hashem wants a home, as it says in the Medrash, in the lowest realms. And therefore, this is exactly his plan. And this explains our question. We're wondering, what does Sasura mean? It says, that he contradicts, or literally he destroys the work of Hashem. He destroys the work of Hashem because the work of Hashem is about making, Hashem built the world so that it should be, that we should make a home for him in this physical world. So he's destroying Hashem's plan. Hashem wants to have a home here. He's contradicting that, and he's destroying it. He's saying, no, let's not make a home for Hashem. Let's stay in the desert. That explains his name. Any questions before we go further? Okay. Now we have a question the other way around then. Question the other way around is, okay, so the Israel is what it's all about. Israel is ultimate, making a home for Hashem in the lowest realms. That's what the purpose of creation is. So why are we in the desert? What are we doing in the desert? The famous story with the two camels, right? Baby camel says to his mom, Mom, why do we have these long legs, these ugly legs? Mom says, this is long treks in the desert. These legs are very helpful. And why do we have these long whiskers, these ugly whiskers on our eyes? Mom says, these whiskers, they protect us from the desert sand. And why do we have these big humps? And goes on and on. It's all for the desert. So, Mom, what are we doing in the Bronx Zoo? So the question is the opposite. If the whole purpose of creation is to be in Israel, like a home for Hashem, the physical world, and to plow and to plant, what are we doing in the desert? Why Hashem bring us to the desert? The answer is this, that our sojourn in the desert was a preparation for us to arrive in Israel. Yes, the purpose of creation is to have a home for Hashem in the lowest realm. In order to be able to make a home for Hashem in the lowest realm, you have to be somebody. You have to be someone who's able to do that. So the spies said that it doesn't matter what we do here, we're going to an environment that we're going to completely derail us. But the truth is that the environment that they were in was meant to build them for their future mission. And just like this is true for them, so too is this true for us in our life, and it's true for us in our day. Every day begins with a desert-like experience, and our lives begin like the desert. How does that work? When we're younger, so our parents take care of our food and our drink and our clothing. We don't have to worry about earning a livelihood. And instead, what do? We are immersed in Torah. We go to school. We go to the Cheder. We learn Torah. We start our lives like the desert. And that's meant to empower us. Ben Esel Mirda, the Gemara says at the age of 20, that's when you're supposed to start pursuing a livelihood. That experience as a child, that wholesome experience, is what gives us the ability to navigate that challenging environment later on. It's what builds us for the future. And similarly, every day begins also. Some tells the beginning of the day, every day you're supposed to start with davening. Every day you're supposed to start with learning. And that's your desert. That's the time of the day when you're secluded. You're connected in the world of thought, in the world of speech, in your Torah, in your prayer. And that environment is meant to empower you for the rest of the day when you have to engage with the physical. So the goal indeed is to engage with the physical. And the desert is merely a preparatory stage in order to be able to engage with this successfully. It's also connected, Chaim.
Right.
I'll show one important point about this, but before we do any questions or comments, what we just learned about.
No. So are we still like focused on that? Was it
Just serve Michal.
Michal?
Michal means to lower himself. He lowered himself. So Sur means he's soiser. He destroyed the work of Hashem. He lowered himself.
Michal, how's the word? The name Michal.
Mach means to lower yourself. The root of the word Michal is to lower. So There's another point here that we learned a couple of years ago, very powerful idea. Um, just in a very simple understanding of the story, what were they thinking? How did they believe that it wasn't possible for Hashem to win this war? They witnessed themselves so many miracles. Why did they think that Hashem wouldn't be able to conquer the land of Israel? What were they thinking? They saw miracles every day. So how could they possibly accept the notion, not just them, but all the Jewish people, that we wouldn't be able to conquer the land of Israel? What were they thinking? The answer is they thought that in the desert, there was one way Hashem guided the world, it was a miraculous way. But in the desert, there's one way. But when they come to Israel, things are going to run according to nature. According to nature, there's no way we can win. If Hashem is asking us to have an army, then as an army, we can't win. If Hashem wants us to win with his ways, we could win. But if he wants us to win with our ways, with our tools that we're going to create against these giants, these tools are meaningless against these giants. And they were right. But they were also not right. As Kalev said, we'll go up, we'll go higher, we'll inherit the land. What did Kalev mean? You think, Kalev says, that Hashem is either above nature or within nature. Either Hashem does miraculous things in the desert, miraculous things when he destroys the Egyptians, he breaks and he destroys, but he can't build. He can't build things according to nature. Huh?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So presumably the bit that's not mentioned is these are all tzaddikim anyway, like they've made it to the Nasi of their tribes. These are not random guys. These are people who are the head of each tree, the Deretel. Why do they even need Moradim in the first place? Isn't that a lack of faith? Even like, what was the point of the exercise? You didn't have this at any point with the desert. Like, if God's going to do the land, why not just show up while I hear you go?
Good question.
And again, if that's off point, don't worry about it.
I think it's related to this point. So good. It's related to the point. So what Kalev told the Jewish people is, we will go up, we'll go higher, we'll inherit the land. What does we go up? What does that mean? We'll go up and we'll go higher. You think that Hashem is either above nature or within nature, but Hashem is beyond being relegated to one domain. Hashem has no limitations. So as Hashem instructs us to be involved in nature, he empowers us and blesses us beyond nature. So indeed, according to nature, we can't win. And yet, Hashem is telling us to take our meager army and fight against these giants because Hashem is empowering us within nature to go beyond nature. We'll go up, we'll go higher. Hashem will empower us within nature to go beyond nature. That's why the war was fought with these two things, with spies and with the ark. They went with the ark in the Jordan, they went with the ark around Yericho, around Jericho. What's here, the ark? The ark had in it these two opposing, diametrically opposed realities. On the one hand, the ark took up space. It's 2.5 amas long, 1.5 amas wide. On the other hand, the Talmud says that it didn't take up space. If you measure the Holy of Holies, you would find an equal amount of space on all sides of the Holy of Holies as if the ark wasn't there. So the power of the ark represents the power of Hashem, who is nimnam nois. For him, the word impossible is irrelevant. There's nothing that's impossible. So the ark takes up space, does take up space at the very same time. Similarly, Hashem's mission to the Jewish people going to Israel, on the one hand, he's telling them to have an army. On the other hand, Hashem is blessing them to go beyond nature. That with their meager tools, are going to be able to they'll be able to conquer one of Israel. The spy said, "Ein Baal Bayis Yochel Eitz Haskel." It's impossible to win this war. True, according to nature, and true, Hashem is telling them to go according to nature. But yet, Hashem is only knowledge beyond everything, and He's able to empower us within nature to go beyond nature. That's also the reason why the spies were part of the plan. When Moshe hears from Hashem, he asks Hashem, the Jewish people want spies. Then they're suspicious about your claim that this is a wonderful land and that we're going to conquer the land. They're suspicious. And Hashem responds to Moshe, "Shlach l'chol daitchem." If you think it's a good idea, then send them. Isn't that like what would you say to that? I think it's a good idea. Like, isn't that like a clear hint? Like, it's a bad idea. Don't do this. And how come Moshe didn't get that hint? I would have gotten that hint. I'm not so smart. If you think it's a good idea, then do it. You know that something your spouse says, you're dead in the water. It's over. So what is it? So the answer is this: the whole point of creation is, again, Hashem wants a home in the lowest realm, and therefore the conquering of Israel, which is the ultimate expression of Hashem's home in this world. Israel is the center of the world. That's where Hashem wants a home. That's where the mitzvahs are done. Most mitzvahs are done in the land of Israel. The conquering of Israel also had to be done according to the garments of nature as well. And therefore, Hashem said, what you think, that's going to according to your mind. It has to make sense to you. We could conquer the land of Israel beyond nature, true. But I want you to be able to figure out a way in nature to conquer the land. It shouldn't just be something that is supernatural. I want you to figure this out according to nature. So, and had they tried, had they believed that this was possible, they would have found a way in nature to conquer the land of Israel. They would have discovered a way. We're looking at the story, and we don't hear that part of the narrative because they didn't do that. But had they been faithful to their mission was the one Hashem wants a home according to nature, according to the limitations of the world, and therefore their mission was specifically Hashem told Moshe what you think to do, and their mission was to be spies and to go according to nature because Hashem wants a home in the physical world. That's become from the physical world.
It's like a retransitioning. You've gone from desert life, the slaves, desert people, now practical world. This is part of transition.
Exactly. And this is a very powerful message for each of us. The message is that Hashem empowers us to do our mission. We don't have to invent anything. We don't have to despise everything. We have to put our input here. This isn't going to work, and it's very tricky. It's very tricky because on the one hand, Hashem is telling them use your mind. So that means that I should use my mind. It's about me. I should figure this out. On the other hand, Hashem is saying the mission is the mission. You don't have to veer from the mission. You think that because this mission is so hard, it's so impossible, so we have to, and you're trusting me, because I'm leader, because I'm such a big tzaddik, and I made it to the top, I'm a leader of the tribe, so my opinion counts. So I should come back and tell you whether I think it could happen or not. But that wasn't their mission. Because they were so sophisticated and so brilliant and so holy and so spiritual, that's why they made this mistake. Had they not been so sophisticated and so spiritual and so holy, they would be more simple. They'd have just listened to the words of Hashem in a more open and clear way. Hashem said that your mission is to figure out how to conquer the land of Israel. Not if, how. The worst they could have done is say, Hashem, we don't know how. We don't know how. We don't know how. For sure we're going to conquer them. We just don't know how. But they came back and they went to the Jewish people and they changed the conversation. They told the Jewish people, hey, this can't happen. This mission is not going to work. They completely misrepresented their who they were and what their role was. Similar way, going back to other conversations we had about kiruv and stuff. It's possible to think like, oh, I have to lower the bar to reach out to this segment, this audience. There's no way of reaching them, right? Unless I lower the bar. That wasn't my mission. The mission is how, not if. The mission is according to the guidelines of Torah. There's a way to reach them. You don't have to make up anything else. This is the Torah. These are the people. Bring them to the Torah. Don't bring the Torah to them. And so you have to be inventive. I think that idealism, I said, creates creativity, and you have to be creative, 100%. But it's very but at the same time, you're supposed to be creative. Hashem says, believe in your mission, believe in who you are, believe that you could do this, and don't think it can't be done. Go ahead. There's something else you want to say? No?
Thank you.
Thank you. Bottom line is, this is how we bring Mashiach. Mashiach is about this. I mean, the world is a place for Hashem. Right, Abraham?
Right. I went